All right, mic check 1 2. Okay, so I typically don't do videos like this because I honestly think that it's corny. But let's talk about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. In the very beginning, God created Adam, and he was first, right? Right? Adam was the first uh, person or human being that God created, and God had a relationship with him first. So Adam had first a relationship with God, and then after that was established, then Adam was put to sleep, and then out came his wife. He took a rib from Adam, and then his wife was created from the rib of Adam. And so you have this structure, right? We have God first, and then Adam. Adam has a relationship with God, and then the wife comes along. And so you must first establish that relationship with God before your wife comes along. And also, before your wife came along, God commanded Adam to do something, and that's to dress the garden. So he had work to do. So Adam had work to do before he even met his wife. Not only did he, dress the garden and things like that, the Garden of Eden, he also had to name the animals. So Adam had organization responsibilities, right? And he must organize first before he met his wife. And that's kind of how God structured the marriage institution back then. That's the original structure. God first, then Adam and God had a relationship, and then God gave Adam something to do, mostly organization and keeping things neat and organizing and naming things, and then the wife comes along to be a helpmeet to help Adam uh, do the things that he needed to do. And so that's the structure. She's made from the rib of Adam, so of course they have to be equal, but the roles are different, right? Adam's role is kind of a little bit more leadership role, and Eve's role is more help help Adam type of thing, right? Nowadays it's kind of different, where the woman wants to take control, the woman wants to take the lead, and it messes with the true dynamics of marriage. And there is a lot more things that we can say about the human psyche, especially when it comes to marriage. But you can kind of see that if you mess with that original structure, the human psyche kind of gets all discombobulated, and the man typically would not know what to do if the if the woman tries to impose her will, and if the man is like, if he's not really godly the way that he should be, then he wouldn't know how to handle it. And that's kind of how you see everything play out at the Oscars. Now, again, it's kind of weird for me to talk about these things because I don't usually talk about the Oscars and celebrities. You guys already know me. But it's sad to see, because I used to be a fan of Will before I became a Christian. I used to love his movies, and I saw him in these dominant roles, right, leadership roles, and then to see him kind of like that is very sad, and it's very sad for me. This is I'm gonna say this, and you guys can study this on your own in the Bible. But this is what happens when you are not the leader in your home. Okay, this is what happens when you are not the leader in your home. Not only the leader, the physical leader, but also the spiritual leader. If you're not the spiritual leader in your home, and I've been there. Not that not I'm not talking about my wife now, but I've been there where I had a relationship, a couple ex-girlfriends who had cheated on me, and it broke my heart, and it really broke my heart, and because of that, I was afraid. I took them back, which I shouldn't have, but I took them back, and my actions were kind of my actions were dictated by how I felt, because and my feelings also were dictated by the past trauma that I just went through with this person, that she cheated on me, and so now this thing dictates what I do, right? This thing dictates how I feel, and my feelings dictate what I do. And so because this person cheated on me, now I feel some sort of way, and if I'm not dominant, and she sees that, then she's going to cheat on me again, and I don't want that to happen. And so what ends up happening is I want to feel, I don't want to be cheated on. Really, I don't really, it wasn't really that I care about the relationship. Yes, I cared about the relationship, but really what I cared more about is saving myself. So that's really what it was for me. And I have a hunch that that's what happened with Will Smith. He just wanted to save himself. He wanted to save his reputation. He wanted to look good. You see what I mean? And so for me, that sort of thing happened when my person cheated on me, and I took her back. And then I don't want her to cheat on me again. And to me, my thinking was, if I'm not dominant enough, if I don't have this man mindset enough, where I'm strong enough to defend myself emotionally and also physically, then, and also defend my woman or my girl physically and emotionally, then if I can't provide that for her, then she's going to cheat on me again, causing me to feel bad about myself. So I want to save myself now, in order for me to be in this place where now people are looking at me like I'm the dominant figure in my relationship, and even her, my person, will look at me like I'm the dominant figure. And so it will cause, not only to make me look good and to make my reputation good, but it will also cause my woman to not leave me or cheat on me. And so I have to do extraordinary things in order to show and prove that I'm the dominant figure here. And so I think that's what happened with Will Smith. He had this history with Jada, where she's kind of the domineering component in the relationship, and she's the one that cheated, and with the person, what's his name, August or whatever. And so he feels some. This is just my thinking. It's just my opinion. But maybe he felt some sort of way where, okay, now I have to figure out what to do with my reputation. I have to stand up for myself. And by standing up for Jada, I'm also standing up for myself. Maybe that's what he believes. And now this person here, Chris Rock, is making fun of my woman. I'm laughing at it at first, but because my reputation is also on the line, not only in front of the people here, but also with my wife, right? And that's the pivotal thing. If my reputation is on the line and my wife is looking at this and I don't do something about it, my wife could cheat on me again. And in turn, the whole world will see how non-dominant I am. And so I have to do something about this. I'm going to walk up the stage and slap this guy and demand respect that way. But what ended up happening is, it didn't happen the way that he wanted it to happen. I think people lost respect for that, and rightfully so. So Will Smith is, I don't know him personally or whatever. He seems like a good guy. I've seen some of his movies before I was a Christian. I don't recommend, if you're a Christian, I don't recommend watching some of his movies, because there's a lot of unbiblical concepts there. But I believe that's what happened, and I think this is really an example of what happens if we don't structure our family and ourselves, to align with biblical principles and biblical principles of marriage. And what if we don't put God first? This is what happens. And I see the Ahab and Jezebel working. The Ahab and Jezebel spirits, quote quote, working here in this scenario, where Jezebel, is the domineering figure, and Ahab is really doing the biddings of Jezebel. And so that's kind of the thing that I see with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, where Jada is really the more domineering figure, and then Will Smith is really just trying to figure it all out. And He wants his reputation to be known and to be respected and to be feared and also maybe loved. And so he had to do, even like he had to stray away from biblical principles to do that. And he calls himself a Christian as well, which is, so that's what I see. Remember what happened with Jezebel and Ahab. Ahab wanted to kill Elijah. Ahab wanted to kill Elijah, and all because Jezebel was the domineering figure of that couple. And same thing that happened with King Herod, Herodias, and Salome. Remember, and John the Baptist. Remember was it Herodias? I think that's her name, right? Herodias was the domineering figure. Salome was the dancer, the daughter of the mother, which is Herodias, and really King Herod really was just like a Will Smith. He was the one that's like, oh, look at me, I have this reputation, I'm a king here in Rome, and so on and so forth. And then when when the Jezebel spirit, which is Herodias, when she's the domineering figure, when she's the one that says, okay, you're not the dominant one here, I'm the dominant one, let me be the one to lead, and let me be the one to, if I speak, my words are law. When she says things like that, and Herod, goes along with it because he was drunk at the time, what happens? What ended up happening? Someone gets killed, right? That's John the Baptist, and the same thing that happens to us Christians. Remember in Revelation 17, who's the one that's domineering? There's the harlot and there's the beast. Okay, the beast is the political figure. The harlot really is the church. And what is more domineering? Was it the harlot or was it the beast? No, it wasn't the beast. It was the harlot, because the harlot was the one that's riding on top of the beast. When you sit on something, that means you are dominating that thing that you're sitting on. And so it's kind of like, when you're on the throne, when you're sitting on the throne, it means you are the dominant figure, right? When you're sitting on the throne, whoever sits on the throne is the dominant figure. And so because the harlot was sitting on the beast, that means the harlot is the dominant figure and the beast is really doing the harlot's biddings. And so we have this the harlot controlling the beast, and God's people being killed because the harlot is in control. And so it's the same thing with marriage relationships. If the woman is the one that's dominant, if there is no spiritual leader, if the man is not the spiritual leader, the woman is going to be dominant. And if the woman is dominant, everything gets thrown out of place. It's no longer God's structure. It's no longer harmonious. Things are going to happen that people might, you might regret. You see what I mean? And I have to also learn about these things. I've only been three years married now with my wife. The good thing is we still try to keep the things in our marriage structurally biblical based, God based, and that's the good thing. And we're still learning about marriage and things like that. But I think those who do not have God, those who claim to have God, but also do not have God, the way that they claim, you can kind of see in their actions. And you saw that with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. You see, it's all over the internet that Jada really is the domineering figure of that relationship. And because she is, it throws off the foundation. It throws off the biblical structure, the biblical godly foundation of the marriage, and things like that happen. Someone gets persecuted, which is Chris Rock, and the same thing with Jezebel and Ahab, because they threw away the foundational, the biblical structure. God's people get killed. Same thing with Herod, Herodias, and Salome, and John the Baptist. Because the woman, the harlot, was the domineering figure, the dominant figure. The biblical structure of the marriage gets thrown out, and John the Baptist gets persecuted. And also the same thing with Adam and Eve. Adam became the follower of Eve. Remember, Eve was the one that sinned first, right? She's the one that took the apple, or not the apple, but the fruit, and ate it. And then she's the one that commanded Adam to eat it. And because Adam followed her, she became the dominant figure. And guess what happened? They both died. They both not immediately, but they both died. It threw off the marriage structure, the biblical marriage structure that God gave us, so that we can harmonize together in the marriage, and we would be successful in the marriage the way that God would want us to be. That's just what I noticed. I wanted to talk more about it, but don't have time right now. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents. I believe that there are more things, there are more psychological things that's going on, behind the scenes, and not just what we see in the surface, on TV and things like that, or social media. I believe that there's more things behind the scenes in the structure of their home that is not biblical, and they probably don't follow the principles of God. I mean, you can kind of tell, especially when you watch the Red Table Talk and what they talk about there, polyamorate, amorite, or something like that, and talking about how being married to 3 different people, and even if it's like a man and a woman and a woman and another man, or whatever type of marriage that they talk about, and all these spiritualistic things that they talk about there, and believe, that you can see there in the Red Table Talk. You can pretty much see that they don't have a biblical structure in the home, and that's probably the reason why things happened the way that they did at the Oscars. And so I wanted to talk about that. My message to you guys is, for those of you guys who are married and are struggling in your marriage, pray, and also let God do his job in your marriage. Follow him. This is something that my wife and I are also learning, is just following the structure of God. How do we structure our marriage? How do we structure the home? And even like, how do we structure our the home that include our kids? You know what I mean? And so if we follow Christ, if we follow God, we can never go wrong. If we follow God, sometimes we think we're following God, but we're not really following God. And so if you don't want to end up like this, and I hate to use Will Smith as an example, but everybody's talking about this. But if you don't want to end up like that, and this is also, I hope, a message for Will Smith, follow Christ, follow God, follow his structure, and your family will follow suit. And if your family does follow suit, it will be a harmonious home in your home. So that's the message for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Praise God always. See you guys on the next one. Peace. For those who have not yet heard the news, starting May of 2022, we will be filming one of the biggest documentaries we've ever filmed since we started this ministry. Pastor Doug Batchelor from Amazing Facts, along with other well-known Christian creators like Mark Fox, Dustin Peslin, Mikey Jenny from Little Light Studios, and many more, have agreed to do a documentary with us pertaining to one of the biggest topics when it comes to Christianity, the second coming of Jesus Christ and the rapture. What will it be like? When will it be? Is it pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, or post-tribulation? What is the nature of his coming, and how can we be ready? These are just some of the questions we will answer in the documentary, but we need your help. This documentary is going to take a lot of work. We will need to again hire on-screen talents, illustrators, animators, audio engineers, and possibly another camera operator to get it all done. I cannot do it all by myself because this is a lot of work. Now, this documentary also requires us to travel to many different states: California, Nebraska, Idaho, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, and of course, back to my home state, Illinois. As you all know, I will be traveling with my family of 3, my wife, my 2-year-old son, and myself. It does take a huge physical mental, and financial toll on us. So we are asking you for help. If you are willing to support this project, please pray for this project. And if you feel inspired, donate for this project at schoolforprophets.tv. The link is in the description box. And if anybody out there can lend us a small RV that we can use to travel around to film in these different locations, please email me, Tila at schoolforprophets.tv, or help us get an affordable RV by again donating at schoolforprophets.tv, and again the link is in the description box. Now this is a lot of work to do, but we are inspired and willing to do the work with you and with your help so that we can put this particular documentary out there for free to watch on YouTube. Thank you all for the support. We love you and praise God always.